The next thing we're going to talk about is going to be loops. But before we dive into loops, I want to talk a little bit more about strings. Strings, as we discussed, are simply primitive data types which are read as text by the browser. They're encased in quotation marks. Well, strings have unique properties, and these properties are things like length. And to access these properties, we're going to use dot notation. So if I write something like Evan as a string, dot length, this is going to return or output to me the length of this string. And that length is the number of characters it contains. 4 characters, EVAN, 4. So that's the length of my string. And this, we can do this for full sentences. This is a string. Dot length, 16. 16 characters. This, by the way, includes spaces or commas or question marks. Any kind of characters which are contained in a string are counted towards its length. Okay. Note real fast that length is not followed by an open and closing parentheses, so it is not a function. It's simply a static property. It's simply something which we can access, which contains some information about this, the length property of this. And we can, of course, run this on variables which contain strings as well. My string equals, this is a long string of words. My string, let's call it. Okay, the variable contains my string. Now let's run my string dot length. 30 characters. I'm going to take its word for it. Okay, so that's the length property of strings. The other thing we can do with strings is we can target individual characters in a string. And we do that using something called the character's index, the index of a given character. So let's go back to Evan. In order to access, say, the first character of this string, that E, well, this is actually the 0th index. 0 index, the V is at the 1 index, the A is at the 2 index, the N is at the 3 index. And to access a character at a given index, we write our string, or the variable containing our string, followed by square brackets. And inside those square brackets, we write the index which we're looking for. And that returns E, the character at the 0 index of this string. The character at the 0 index of this string. Okay, now that's important. The length of this string is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in terms of the indexes of its characters, they're counted starting from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Length 4, indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I wanted to access the V, I would change that number to a 1. An A, second index, and an N, third index. Okay. So those are string indexes, characters at given index of a string, always indicated by these square brackets. Let's actually run this on the myString variable just to demonstrate that it works with variables which contain strings as well. That gives us the T. Okay, so those are string indexes and the length of strings. These are going to be important properties for our next video.